Ikumafuna had become wholly absorbed into his new family. He was like an elder brother to Noi, and from the very first seemed to have kindled a new fire in the younger boy. Okonkwo was inwardly pleased at his son's development, and he knew it was due to Ikumafuna. So Okonkwo encouraged the boys to sit with him in his obi, and he told them stories of the land, masculine stories of violence and bloodshed.
Locusts are descending! Locusts are descending!
That boy calls you father. Do not bear a hand in his death. Yes, Umofia has decided to kill him. The Oracle of the Hills and the Caves has pronounced it. They will take him outside Umofia, as is custom, and kill him there. But I want you to have nothing to do with it. He calls you his father.
Ikumafuna was told that he would be returning home this day. Throughout that day, Noi sat in his mother's hut, and tears stood in his eyes.
My father! They have killed me!
As soon as his father walked in, Nwoi knew that Ikmanfuna had been killed, and something seemed to give way inside him, like the snapping of a tightened bow. He did not cry, he just hung limp. That night, Nwoi was broken for the second time in his life. Okonkwo drank lots of palm wine after Ikmanfuna's death. Nwoi was afraid of his father and avoided him. Azinma brings him food and water, and Okonkwo admired her hard work.
She should have been a boy.
Okonkwo decided that he should work to keep Ikmanfuna off his mind. He scolded himself, believing that he should not be overcome by grief for the boy.
How can a man who has killed 5 men in battle fall to pieces because he has added a boy to their number? Okonkwo, you have become a woman indeed.
With this thought in his head, he decided to visit Obarika.
My daughter's suitor is coming today, and I hope we will clinch the matter of the bride price. I want you to be there.
The two men discussed their children's lives until Okonkwo brought up Ikmanfuna's death. Obarika told Okonkwo that it would have been better that he did not go against the oracle.
The earth cannot punish me for obeying her messenger. That is true, but if the oracle said that my son should be killed, I would neither dispute it nor be the one to do it.
The two men argued about this point until Afudu entered the obi to give them news.
Do you know Abufi Nadulu? He died this morning.
The two men discussed how it was not strange that he died, but Afudu points out that the drum had not sounded to tell the people of Umofia of his death. He explained that it is because his first wife, Ozumina, had also died. Obarika's family and the suitor's family came to an agreement on the bride price. The men talked after the deal was made.
It is like the story of the white men who, they say, are white like this piece of chalk. And these white men, they say, have no toes.
And have you ever seen them? One of them passes here frequently. His name is Amadi.
The men knew of Amadi, but he was a leper, or one with white skin.
Who's that?
Azinma is dying!
It is Iba.
Okonkwo took his machete and went to collect leaves, grasses, and barks of trees used for making the medicine for Iba. Azinma was an only child and the center of her mother's world. Before her, Ekwefi had borne 9 children, all of whom had died in infancy, usually before the age of 3. As she buried one child after another, her sorrow gave way to despair, and then to grim resignation. Her deepening despair found a voice in the names of her children.
Onwambiko, death I implore you. Ozoamena, may it not happen again. Onwuma, death may please himself.
And he did. After the death of Ekwefi's second child, Okonkwo went to a medicine man to ask him what was amiss.
The child is an Obanji, a wicked child who after death returns to its mother's womb to be reborn. When your wife becomes pregnant again, let her go stay with her people to elude her wicked tormentor.
Ekwefi did as she was asked, but still the child died. Okonkwo called in another medicine man who was famous for his knowledge about Obanji children. His name was Okagbu Inawa. He questioned Okonkwo about the child and gave him instructions on what he should do in the future. He then ordered that there should be no mourning for the dead child and mutilated the child's body before dragging it into the evil forest. Finally, Azinma was born. Ekwefi accepted her as she had the others, with listless resignation. But when the child lived to its 6th year, love and anxiety for the child returned. Ekwefi believed that Azinma had come to stay, as the year before a medicine man had broken her bond with the Obanji by digging up Azinma's Iiwa.
Where did you bury your Iiua?
What is Iiua?
You know what it is. You buried it in the ground somewhere so that you can die and return again to torment your mother.
Again, the medicine man asked Azimah where she had buried her Iiua, and eventually she told them.
Where they bury children.
The medicine man told Azimah to show him the spot, so she led the crowd down the main road, past the stream, through the bush, back to the main road, and home again. Again, the medicine man asked her where she had buried her Iiua.
It is near the orange tree.
Azimah showed the exact spot to the medicine man, and the people brought him a hoe. He then worked tirelessly to dig a hole, occasionally letting Okonkwo dig, until he found an item wrapped in a rag. He unwrapped it, and out fell a pebble.
Is this yours?
Yes!
And with that, everyone knew that Ekwiffi's troubles were over. Okonkwo returned to the hut with a bundle of grasses and leaves, roots and barks. He told Ekwiffi to bring him a pot which he used to hold the medicine he was making. Once it was done, he had Azimah sit on a stool and lean over the steaming pot with a mat over her head and the pot, forcing her to inhale the steam. Azimah struggled to escape and started to cry, but when the mat was at last removed, she quickly fell asleep.